Happy holidays, everybody, and Tony here with a tribute to a Christmas special from a superhero cartoon I've been holding near and dear to my heart ever since I was about 9 or 10 years old. I'm talking about On Angel's Wings from X-Men Evolution, which aired on December 15, 2001. This episode was directed by Frank Poor, and it was written by Boyd Kirkland. Being born in 1992, as well as not frequenting the comics as I should, there were 3 incarnations of the X-Men lore that I grew up with. The first one was the X-Men animated series. The second one was the 2000 movie. And the third one was, of course, X-Men Evolution. And growing up as a kid in the 2000s, I easily identified with the characters in X-Men Evolution because they went through a lot of the things I went through as a teenager. Given that the characters of Scott Summers, Jean Grey, Rogue, Kitty, Kurt, and many of the X-Men are placed in a high school scenario with the exception of Professor X, Wolverine, and Storm, this show combined high-octane superhero action with teen drama, a bit of comedy, and a lot of supernatural elements to be found. Ergo, this was a show I was constantly excited to watch ever since I was a kid, and I found myself glued to the screen wondering what was going to happen next. And it never left me bored. There was a lot to look forward to every single time I tuned into X-Men Evolution, and at the same time, it was really relatable to me because of not only the characters in this particular show, but also the writing and how much I was able to empathize with these said characters. And let us not forget about the stellar voice acting provided by the likes of the late Kirby Morrow, Venus Terzo, Maggie Blue O'Hara, Megan Black, Scott McNeil, David Kay, Kristen Williamson, Andrea Libman, and many of the finest voice actors Ocean Studios has to offer. I remember being thoroughly touched by On Angel's Wings ever since I was a little kid, and to this very day, speaking to all of you as a grown-up, it still managed to do so after many years. The episode kicks off in New York, where we're introduced to Warren Worthington III, well, more specifically, where he resides. His mother, who is currently in London spending the holidays with his dad, has sent him a voicemail. All the while, Warren is tuning into the news where the latest scoop is a disabled woman trapped inside a burning building. After hearing about this news, Warren then discards his civilian robes and soars with his wings on show to the scene of the accident. He rescues the disabled woman and has her reunited with her daughter Jamie. The woman then explains to her daughter that she was rescued by an angel. Cut back to Bayville and we see a Christmas party hosted in the Xavier Institute, complete with Jean Grey giving gifts to Jubilee, Amara, and Kitty, as well as Kurt being absolutely flirtatious towards Kitty, wanting a kiss from her under the mistletoe, Logan not really feeling that Christmas cheer, while Professor X reminds him that these were kind of the days of what he used to be as a young boy, and Rogue giving a gift to Scott, as well as having a nice little chat with each other. And just by seeing Scott and Rogue having their little chat, Jean is a bit jealous, given that she and Scott are kind of an item. And even back then as a kid, I've always shipped Scott with Jean because they were also the most mature out of the teenage X-Men. And I always perceived Scott's relationship with Rogue as more of the responsible big brother to Rogue's rowdy and outspoken younger sister. Sure, I do understand Jean's bout of jealousy that she's had with Scott talking with Rogue, because they do have something together and they do have a lot of things in common, and that's what brought them together, and that's what made their relationship work. And I fully empathize with Jean in that particular situation. With that smidget of tension subsiding, although not by a long shot, Kurt continues to chase Kitty around with a mistletoe until he ends up accidentally kissing Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, and both of them are rightfully disgusted at what happened. The other X-Men such as Aurora, Jean, Kitty, Kurt, Evan, and many other teenage X-Men say their goodbyes and their well wishes for the Christmas season, as Scott and Rogue also say their goodbyes to them, considering that they're the only ones staying at the Xavier Institute. Once again, Jean still feels those pangs of jealousy coming back, and it's at that moment that I also shared her sadness. The news has been spreading like wildfire about Angel saving all these civilians, and the latest person to end up witnessing Angel saving him was a man who was robbed and mugged until Angel rescued him, lifted the thief up, placed him on a pole, dropped the briefcase to the man, where he exclaims that he saw an angel rescue him from his mugger, and it was certainly the greatest miracle he's ever experienced. With that latest buzz also being spread to Bayville, Professor Xavier believes that this angel might be a mutant and is certainly not from the other world, thus making him believe that Warren, aka Angel, could be worthy of recruitment with the X-Men. This leaves Scott and Rogue to do the job, especially as they travel to New York to interview the people who have witnessed Angel saving their lives. And Scott and Rogue also have a bit of a heart-to-heart in a cafe, and I definitely liked this scene between them, considering that Rogue reminds him that Scott still owes her a present. And as I stated before, I really liked the sweet relationship budding between these two. It's not anything that's overly romantic, but it's a relationship that is quite warm and fuzzy in its own way, and you do believe that they are not just teammates, but also kindred spirits. Given the occasion that Rogue also gathered a bit of Scott's powers in order to incapacitate Fred the Blob Dukes, as well as that little connection they had during one English project in which they had to do a Shakespearean scene together. So their sweet relationship was one of the highlights of On Angel's Wings, and I definitely appreciated the connection both of them had. Cutting back to Angel, he's also been spied on by Magneto, who disguised himself as a civilian. Magneto then causes a riot to happen where a family is almost about to fall. Angel then saves that family, but it's not over yet. After that family's been saved, Magneto then uses a coil in order to surround Angel with, thus making him knock the little girl Haley down the bridge. And even when Angel saves her, the people believe that he was no angel, but some glorified con man, thus making Warren, aka Angel, flee the scene. Scott and Rogue managed to hear the latest buzz of what was going on with Angel in a CD store, especially when it's conveyed by two teenage girls. And as they rush to the hospital, Rogue then finds a feather drop from the disguised Warren's back, and that is when they ultimately recognize that it was Angel. So the chase still ensues, and luckily for Warren, he finds himself in a church. But he's not safe there for long, as Magneto tries to manipulate him into joining the Brotherhood. Since Angel prefers to work alone, he feels like Magneto's offer is meaningless to him. Not wanting to be defeated, Magneto then wraps up Warren with a chain using his mind, and that is until Scott and Rogue end up showing up and a beatdown ensues. Now this is also a very action-packed beatdown. We got Scott shooting lasers to incapacitate Magneto, and after Warren is freed from the chains, we even have Warren helping out trying to incapacitate Magneto, and that is until Rogue then absorbs some of Magneto's powers. Does the fight continue? Even though Rogue was unsuccessful at fully incapacitating Magneto as he ended up getting away, and also when she ended up being wounded by him, she was rescued by none other than Warren, and even remarks that he truly was an angel. Back at the hospital, Scott assures Warren that his powers of flight, as well as his moral code, could be very useful as an additional member of the Xavier Institute. However, Warren feels that even though he prefers to work alone, there have been many factions and a lot of groups who still want him to be a part of their team. And even though Scott and Rogue tried to convince Warren to join the X-Men, Warren declines. At least there is a bit of a happy ending for Haley and her family. The recovered Haley then tells her parents about the dream she had of Angel's encounter with her. And seeing Haley recovered makes Warren, Scott, and Rogue really happy to see that she can be reunited with her parents for the holidays. And I was also genuinely touched by this scene because even though Warren did not end up joining the X-Men, at least he was able to do something really good for not only Haley, but for her whole family. Despite what certain people said about Warren being this freak, he still managed to bring some positivity into the lives he has saved. And that is also what Scott acknowledged about Angel. He is fully aware that he's a hero doing good deeds. However, he reminds him that there are also many people who don't even perceive that those with otherworldly powers, let alone extraordinary powers, could be treated the same way, especially since Magneto is still on the prowl. Nevertheless, Warren, Scott, and Rogue share in this touching moment that Haley has with being reunited with her parents. Even more touching is how each of the X-Men celebrate the holidays. We have Jean celebrating Christmas with her sister and her parents, especially since they're looking for a Christmas tree to place in their home. Kitty celebrating Hanukkah with her parents. Kurt being reunited with his parents in Germany and spending the holidays with them. Evan having a snowball fight with his dad and even trying to make an attack on his mom and Aurora, thus causing Aurora to conjure a snowstorm upon them. Logan spending his time alone in a bar playing pool. And finally, Professor X and Hank, aka Beast, celebrating the holidays together with cups of hot chocolate. On Angel's Wings always had a very special place in my heart, not only because of its very strong story, but also the music that accompanied said story. I really loved Angel's theme, which was this sweeping tune in F minor, as it was able to convey both his heroism as well as his doubts as a human who may be an angel incarnate, but he's still a man nonetheless. And he's also a man who may fight for what's right, but he is still a human being just like everyone else, even in spite of his extraordinary wings. And even the quieter moments also heighten Angel's doubts as well as what his duty really entails. He knows that he's doing right, but at what cost? Is it for his own benefit, or is it because he wants to do it because it's the right thing? The music really does a great job in heightening the atmosphere as well as making us understand Angel as a character. This is also backed up with some really nice arrangements of the holiday music, such as Jingle Bells, which is also played at the end of the montage of the X-Men celebrating the holidays, which was used to a very touching and a very sweet effect, and even a nice smooth jazz version of Jolly Old Saint Nicholas. And speaking about the music in the holiday montage, that was also one of my most favorite pieces of music as well. Hearing that reminded me of holiday cheer and that warm, fuzzy feeling that I get inside my heart. And I was welling up with tears of joy when I heard that music. That was just how powerful the usage of music managed to be in this particular Christmas episode. And while I can acknowledge the great talents done by the likes of the late Kirby Morrow to David Kaye, one voice actor managed to steal the show from everyone's feet, and he was none other than Mark Hildreth, who voiced Warren Worthington III, aka Angel. He brings a very subdued and very subtle performance to this character. Though he is heroic by deeds, he is still a man who has yet to come to terms with his extraordinary powers. And he also makes him someone who we can all sympathize with, thus bringing a very human and an absolutely endearing and touching portrayal of this heroic character. Any other voice actor would have made him prideful and far too showy, but Mark Hildreth managed to work with a lot of great nuance and subtlety in order to make such an authentic performance as Warren Worthington III, aka Angel. His performance as Angel was indubitably authentic, and I believed every single word that he uttered from his mouth. And he also made my heart go out to him, because he was also able to make him a misunderstood character, even though he's done a lot of good deeds. And he's also brought in that enigma, which made him all the more fascinating, thus creating an extremely wonderful performance of this enigmatic yet just character. Overall, On Angel's Wings is phenomenal in more ways than one. The music is absolutely gorgeous. The characters were truly relatable, and the story was really involving. And if you've never cried near the end, let alone the ending montage of Jean, Kitty, Kurt, Evan, and even Logan, Professor X, and Hank spending the holidays, then something might be wrong with you. On Angel's Wings managed to do the phenomenal task of combining superhero action with human drama and with a bit of comedy to make this a worthwhile episode to watch on the holidays. And for those of you who watched On Angel's Wings from X-Men Evolution, what did you think of it? Did you really feel that Angel was a very sympathetic character? And did you enjoy every moment that he was on screen? Did you also love the relationship between Scott and Rogue and how their friendship might be something a lot more than you might think it is? Or did you feel like this particular Christmas special was not to your liking? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's it for my tribute to On Angel's Wings from X-Men Evolution. Tune in much later, where I then travel to DC Comics, where I do a tribute to Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with a Joker. So until then, happy holidays, everybody!